Hey everyone! In this video, we will explore the major parts of the human heart and understand their functions. At number 1, we have the vena cava. This is the superior vena cava. The superior vena cava carries deoxygenated blood from the upper body into the right atrium. The inferior vena cava also carries deoxygenated blood from the lower body into the right atrium as well. This is the right atrium, which receives deoxygenated blood from the two vena cava into the right ventricle through the tricuspid valve. This is the left atrium, which receives oxygenated blood from the pulmonary veins, that is from the lungs into the left ventricle through the bicuspid valve. This is the right ventricle. The right ventricle pumps deoxygenated blood to the lungs for oxygenation. The blood flows through the pulmonary semilunar valve into the pulmonary artery, which carries it to the lungs. The left ventricle, it pumps oxygenated blood to the entire body. The blood flows through the aortic semilunar valve into the aorta, the largest artery, and distributes it to the body. Now let's take note of this. The right ventricle has a thinner wall compared to the left ventricle, because it pumps blood only at a short distance, that is, to the lungs, which means it requires low pressure and low resistance. This is called pulmonary circulation, and the left ventricle must pump blood to the entire body, which demands a high pressure and thick wall, which is why the left ventricle has a higher thick wall. This is called systematic circulation. Now let's look at the heart valves. There are 4 valves in the heart which are categorized in atrioventricular valves and semilunar valves. Atrioventricular valves, these are valves located between the atria and ventricles. We have tricuspid valve, which is located between the right atrium and the right ventricle. It prevents the backflow of blood from the right ventricle to the right atrium during ventricular contraction. The mitral valve, also called the bicuspid valve. It is located between the left atrium and the left ventricle. It prevents the backflow of blood from the left ventricle to the left atrium during ventricular contraction. Now let's look at the semilunar valve. These valves are located at the exit of the heart ventricle where blood flows into large arteries. We have the pulmonary semilunar valve, which is located between the pulmonary artery and the right ventricle. It prevents the backflow of blood from the pulmonary artery to the right ventricle after ventricular contraction. The aortic semilunar valve, which is located between the left ventricle and the aorta, it prevents the backflow of blood from the aorta to the left ventricle after ventricular contraction. This is the interventricular septum, which separates the right ventricle from the left ventricle. It prevents the mixing of deoxygenated blood in the right ventricle with oxygenated blood in the left ventricle. We also have interatrial septum, which also separates the right atrium from the left atrium. I can't really point it out in this 3D diagram, but it prevents the mixing of deoxygenated blood in the right atrium with oxygenated blood in the left atrium. Quick recap. On the right side of the heart, deoxygenated blood flows into the right atrium, passes through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, then through the pulmonary semilunar valve into the pulmonary artery, and finally to the lungs. On the left side of the heart, oxygenated blood from the lungs flows through the pulmonary veins into the left atrium, passes through the bicuspid valve into the left ventricle, then through the aortic semilunar valve into the aorta, and is distributed throughout the body. And that's how the heart works, its chambers, valves, and vessels working together to keep blood moving in a continuous cycle. The heart is truly the body's pump of life.